my name is Erin with Half Acre Happy, and I share videos about creating a clean and simple lifestyle for you and your family while living on a budget. Lately, the biggest health buzzwords that I have been hearing around is healthy gut. And of course, now that these words are going around, different companies are creating prebiotics, probiotics, different powder drinks, and convincing you that you need those things in order to fix the microbiome of your gut. When in reality, all you need is to add fermented foods into your diet, which are so easy and cheap to make, they might as well be free. My favorite of the fermented foods is sauerkraut. The reason being is because the flavor of sauerkraut really goes with most of the things I make in our house. I either put it on my plate as a small side, or I just put it right on top of whatever we're eating. I give sauerkraut to my baby, my husband eats it. Fermented foods in general can somewhat be an acquired taste, but once you get used to it, your body is going to be craving it. Fermented foods like sauerkraut help to improve the digestive tract, make you more regular. The probiotics that are naturally in sauerkraut improve digestion because they stimulate the production of digestive enzymes, which helps break down food more easily. Sauerkraut is also very rich in fiber, which also helps to improve the digestive tract. If you have ever felt intimidated or overwhelmed by the process of making sauerkraut, then this is the video for you. So today I'm going to be using a very large head of cabbage that I got from an organic local farmer for only $2. So follow along with me as we make this super cheap and easy, delicious way to heal your gut. What you'll need to make sauerkraut is a cutting board, a head of cabbage. This cabbage is ginormous, but any size cabbage will work. A large mixing bowl, a scale that measures in grams, a clean pint-size wide-mouth mason jar, a leak-proof lid. I prefer to use the plastic Ball brand lids, and I'll explain why later. Salt, preferably sea salt, some kind of weighted object that will fit in the jar. I use this little porcelain ramekin, and a sharp knife. First, what you're going to do is weigh just the bowl out in grams and write that number down on a piece of paper. Then, you'll take your cabbage and remove a few of the outer leaves. Any of the brown or damaged ones you can just throw in the compost or the garbage. But keep the clean outer leaves and set them aside. We'll be using them later. Then, you're going to cut your cabbage down the middle and take out the hard core on both sides. Then, cut each of those halves in half again and start roughly chopping up the cabbage. I like to keep mine a medium size. If you cut it up too small, you risk the cabbage becoming soggy during the fermentation process. If it's too big, it might be a little hard to eat. One thing I would like to say while you're watching me chop up this ginormous cabbage is that eating one serving of sauerkraut is not going to heal your gut. But it is proven that if you add fermented foods like sauerkraut into your daily diet, it will start to change the microbiome of your gut within 3 weeks. And I think that's pretty spectacular. Okay, now you'll place all of the cut up cabbage into your mixing bowl and you'll weigh the cabbage with the bowl in grams. Next, I apologize, but you'll have to do a little math. Luckily, we all have calculators in our pockets these days. As you can see here, you'll take the weight of the bowl with the cabbage and subtract the weight of the bowl alone, so that you're getting the weight of just the cabbage. Then we want to get 2% of that number. So you'll multiply it by 0.02. The number that you get is how many grams of salt that we need to add to the cabbage. Next, you'll weigh out your salt and sprinkle it over the cabbage. The next part is the longest part of the process. You'll now start massaging the salt into the cabbage. This may take around 5 to 10 minutes. It's okay to take breaks if your hands get tired. You'll massage the cabbage until you start seeing liquid at the bottom of the bowl. And when you squeeze the cabbage, you should be squeezing liquid out. This liquid is your brine, which is basically just a combination of salt and water. Next, you'll start adding the cabbage into the jar, making sure that you pack it tight, and all of the liquid that's in the bowl should come with it. Then, you'll grab those cabbage leaves that we set aside in the beginning, and depending on how big they are, you can either fold them in half once or twice in order to fit them into the jar. Basically, what we're doing is creating a natural wall so that the little pieces of cabbage can't pass through and be on the outside of the brine. This can create mold, and we definitely don't want that. You'll push the leaves down until the liquid rises above it. Next, you'll add your weight on top of the leaves. This will ensure that the leaves are pushing the cabbage into the brine. Lastly, you'll add your lid. The reason I use a plastic lid is because it does not create a seal like the metal ones do. When the jar is sealed and the fermentation process starts, a lot of the pressure will build up and you'll have to burp the jar once a day. When you use a plastic lid, it allows a small amount of the pressure to be released and you'll never have a big mess and won't have to burp it as much. Using a plastic lid, sometimes I forget to burp it at all and it's totally fine. This now shows me burping it after 4 days. You can see the bubbles rising to the top and any lingering pressure is being released. You can also see that the cabbage is now a much lighter color than it was when we first put it in the jar. That is a natural process that will take place during fermentation. It's caused by the breakdown of pigments and the development of acids. As you now have learned from this video, sauerkraut is such a cheap and easy way to get probiotics and good bacteria into your gut, and it will overall have such a positive impact on your health. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.